Hello everyone, this is Uprooted by Naomi Novik. Now, so far so good. I've had nothing but good reads from her. Here's her Sholomance trilogy and a short story collection of hers called Buried Deep, which I can recommend to anyone. So this is it's a, well, let's call it a magical woods story. And this magical woods is sentient and bent on the destruction of the kingdom in which it sits near. It is insidious. It isn't just playing any kind of, it's actually playing a very long game. And some of the underlying things that you discover along the way are like, oh, didn't see that one coming. And I actually enjoyed the woods itself as a whole character. Now, the author pronounces, or gives a pronunciation of our lead here, Agnieszka, I hope. And she is taken away to a wizard's tower. This wizard comes out once every decade and takes on a new girl. The other girls are released and they can go do whatever they want, and they usually leave the area and don't come back. In her case, it was supposed to be her friend Cassia, but he takes our protagonist instead. Now, she turns out she's magical, and between the two of them, it's the dynamic between them. It's sort of like someone who's just all about logic, and she's all about intuition. She can pull off some amazing magical feats, but she's nowhere near his power level, at least at first. Even by the end, she doesn't really, I can't say she would compete with him in like a wizard's duel or something. He's just much more powerful. He's been around for a long time. Interesting, one thing I really liked was that the wizards in this book, at least the ones that serve the kingdom, they're not super common, they're not totally rare, they're out in the world, but the ones that serve the kingdom take on nicknames, like he's called the Dragon, there's a Willow, and I believe preceding him and guarding this tower was the Raven. His primary purpose is to keep the woods at bay, and that's what he does. His personality, I would say, is, the feeling I got from the start was that he's Professor Snape from Harry Potter. He's very bitter, he's very rude, but he does take her in, and he decides he's going to show her how to do magic, but he's not very nice about this at all. She, for one, does stick up for herself, but she's pretty much there, and she doesn't have much of a choice in the matter. Now, sitting at the heart of this, her friend Cassia, however, is abducted and changed by the woods, and she's like, I'm going to save her and you need to help, and he does. And she gets transformed into this sort of wooden foresty version of herself. She's indestructible. But if there's one little failing in the book, she is in it throughout. She does play a role, but we never get in her head. This story is narrated by our lead character, but she never gets to, I guess with the happenings going on here, it's kind of hard to sit down and have a conversation, and then she can express to us what's going on through her friend's head. And they do have a relationship, but she's kind of in the background a little too far. She's been infected, she's been changed, she's been rescued. I would like to have known what she was thinking in her new mode in life, but we don't really get to that at all. So also, when somebody's been infected, the rule of the kingdom is to just destroy this being, because we can't have everybody get infected and the woods win. The queen, there's a queen who she's been lost in the woods for 20 years. And while she's gone, there's all kinds of new political motivations in this kingdom. Happily, this is not a boring political book. It's that you get told the stuff, it's just enough, and the story goes on. So it doesn't bog down. There's nothing slow about this book, I thought. There's a moral conundrum, though, and I understand its motivation. I understand why it exists. but it's like a tool that you should use, especially in this situation. So there's Cassia. She's going to be put on trial. She's transformed. She's going to be put on trial, but it's really just a show trial. They're going to kill her. And someone suggests to our MC, whose name I just don't want to keep trying to pronounce, Agnesia, you've got magic and you've got some power. Why don't you just mind control the king here and he'll let her off? And she's aghast. No, not only will I not do that because it's abhorrent, my friend Cassia would never approve of such a thing. Well, hold on. Maybe it's because of a time thing? Because if I had mind control and there's my friend or my family member and someone points a gun at them and they're pulling the trigger, you're damn right I'm going to use my mind control on them to stop them. Why wouldn't you do this? Now maybe in the context of this, she has time to do things another way. But I don't know, you'd save people a lot of trouble if you just do a little do-do-do-do and you're off and running, everything's fine. It's a Professor X problem. X-Men, there's Wolverine. So I'm going to use an example from Marvel and DC because crossing them over makes a better explanation. If Professor X spent a single night in Batman's Arkham Asylum, Batman can retire the next day. And for the most part, that's why you have this sort of moral conundrum about mind powers, because they want to have their mind power superheroes, but they don't want them doing too much because they could be the most effective people in superherodom. But people want to see Wolverine do things rather than Professor X do things, because if Professor X decides to actually do things, not going to be a lot of villains to have to deal with. You don't have to change their mind and destroy their minds. He could go in and, I'm just going to remove your confidence to want to accomplish anything, and they're fine. Superman, they always flirt with him doing mind powers. He's basically super strength, flies, invulnerable, heat vision, the senses, all that good stuff. Every once in a while it'll crop up in a comic that he can fight you on the psionic plane. But most writers just say, nah, I don't want to do that. And why? Because if he could do that, he could easily go in, maybe something like Professor X, and, hey, Lex, you're not a bad guy anymore. Oh, now I can just read the newspaper, write paper, be a journalist instead of a superhero. And you can't have that. You gotta have adventures. You can't change people's minds, or else, Wolverine's just sitting around using his claws to poke things and eat off them or something. And that's what's happening here. I'm like, nah, I think in this case you want to save your friend. Really good. How long is this book? 433 pages. Not too long, not too short. Just about right. And actually really enjoyed it, and I hope you will too. So good, another good book from Novik. Next week, a genre switch, which I was gonna continue, but this is Monday. Next Tuesday, the sequel to The Will of the Many, The Strength of the Few, comes out, and I'll have that in my hands on Tuesday. That's what I'm going to wind up reading after this. This is some cyberpunk. This is The Dervish House by Ian McDonald, and let me zoom in on that cover there. I love it. This guy wrote an oldie but a goodie, River of Gods. That was some good reading right there. So here we go. It begins with an explosion. Another day, another bus bomb. Everyone, it seems, is after a piece of Turkey, the country Turkey. But the shockwaves from this random act of 21st century pandemic, I don't have my lighting good here, pandemic terrorism will ripple further and resonate louder than just Agnesoy Square. I assume that's a location in Turkey. Welcome to the world of the Dervish House, the great ancient paradoxal city of Istanbul, divided like a human brain in the great ancient equally paradoxal nation of Turkey. The year is 2027, and Turkey is about to celebrate the 5th anniversary of its accession to the European Union, a Europe that now runs from the Aran Islands to Mount Ararat. Population pushing 100 million. Istanbul swollen to 15 million. Turkey is the largest, most populous, and most diverse nation in the EU, but also one of the poorest and most socially divided. It's a boom economy, the sweatshop of Europe, the bazaar of Central Asia, the key to immense gas wealth, and of Russian and Central Asia. Politics here. The Dervish House is 6 characters, 5 days, 3 interconnected story strands, 1 central common core. The eponymous Dervish House, a character in itself that spins all these players together in a weave of intrigue, conflict, drama, and a ticking clock of a thriller. Okay, there you go. Well, I assume it's cyberpunk. It seems like it's cyberpunk. We'll see. But that is next week. So that is it. See you then. All right. Bye-bye.